Welcome to Living the Dream, sponsored by Jackrabbit Dance, the podcast that brings together studio owners, dance educators, and leaders in the industry. Hosted by Ree Gold and Laura Giacomelli, each episode is packed with real talk, inspiration, and a passion for the dance life. We're so glad you're here. Good morning, friends. I'm Ree Gold. This is Living the Dream. And this is my co-host, Laura Giacomelli.
Hi, Ree. Good morning. Hi, everyone. We're so glad you're here with us today. We've got a great episode ahead of us that shines on the light on experience, evolution, and the business of dance.
And today we're going to travel to Canada to chat with someone who's been with us a while. She's a great leader in our field. She's a visionary, has stepped into that role, which we're going to talk about, a studio owner, a speaker, and someone who continues to grow, evolve, and inspire. Her name is June Lawrence.
Yeah, we're very excited for her to be with us today. And as always, we want to hear from all of you who are watching and listening. So let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from, say hello, or ask a question.
Yeah, and you can chat with us all through this broadcast, so feel free. Laura, I told you I'm in rare form this morning. Be ready.
Why is that, Ree? What's going on? What's going on this weekend?
I don't know exactly. I think I'm happy this morning, and I love hanging out with June.
Oh, I agree. I've known June. When I saw that she was going to be our interview today, I was like, oh my God, I've known Miss June for over 6 years now. Literally over 6 years, because we were like original Gold Alliance people together. And I was like, oh my God, this is wild. So I'm like excited to like chat with her and go deep. And, you know, she's owned her dance studio for over 40 years, which is, I feel like a lot of we hope for that as studio owners, to have our studios thrive for that long and that legacy. So I'm really excited to chat with her too.
Same here. And I know things about June that nobody else knows. And I hope I'll have some time to bring those things up.
Did you clear that with her?
I'm waiting to see if we have enough time. I know she'll be okay with it.
Okay, good.
How was your weekend? What have you been up to?
So my weekend was really good. I actually turned 40 last Thursday. Ooh, I know, new decade, new me. And my two best friends, we hightailed it to Clearwater, Florida from Thursday to Sunday. And the one has 3 children. So to tear her away from stay-at-home mom life with 3 babies was, I literally thanked her husband. I'm like, thank you for letting me steal her. He's like, I got you. But yeah, so it's a weekend.
Good for you for celebrating that milestone and moving forward with friends and a good time. You created a memory that will last a lifetime right there.
Yep.
How do you feel about 40?
You know what? 30s were rough. So I'm like, bye-bye. I'm ready for 40, Ree. I don't know. I feel like it's just, I'm walking into it single and having a great studio and, you know, new house for a year. And I'm really excited for it. I feel like people, I don't know. I feel like I'm more myself now than I ever have been. Everyone says like 20s and 30s, you're figuring it out. 40, you know who you are and there's no more nonsense. Yeah, I kind of feel that way.
I feel like 40s was when I got myself together. I know I can't say this. I was going to say got my shit together. I hope the censors don't come after us now. I mean that though, as like who you are, what you want, it all comes to you during that decade. I feel that it's a turning point.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that that's kind of what it is. It's a turning point. It feels that way. So, and it was nice too. You'll laugh. We had so much going on at the studio, and I had to really like plan like who's like we had the K-pop camp. I had 80 kids at the studio for a team building event. We had classes, and I like sent emails to everybody like you're doing this and you're doing that. The credit card, we like one studio credit card. Lesson learned. We're gonna have another one. I have to order one, but I was like, you get the credit card from that one to that one, so she can get the balloons and she can get the. But I was like sitting on the beach and I just get like a text like, that went great. That was awesome. And I was like, wow, Laura 5 years ago would have been at every single thing not celebrating this. And I'm so happy like that they feel like they can handle all of it. They did a great job. And so it was like a cool feeling too.
Okay, you brought something up I want to dig a little deeper because
Yeah.
I got to tell you, in the last 3 weeks, that's all I hear. Tell everybody about K-pop and
Oh,
K-pop
you're so funny.
and what it's doing. Literally in these studio owner meetings,
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Hey, you guys, you got to do a K-pop camp, do a K-pop
Yeah.
pop up. Ooh, K-pop
Yeah.
pop."
That's pretty much what we did. We did a K-pop, like a Libra Dance Studio presents K-pop night, and it was just 2.5 hours of like dance and games, and they did karaoke during it. They all the kids know all the songs, and then they did snacks and like an hour of crafts. My dad is very very handy, so and like very. It's funny. He's like very autistic on like the down low. He's an artist, so he like drew out all of our crafts for us. So it's all K-pop crafts on wooden blocks. And yeah, so it's just it's a whole like phenomenon right now. There's a movie, there's music, there's like all these things. So yeah, that sold out, and then it oversold. I had 20 in it, and then I had two on the wait list, and I would have done 25 if it was me because I feel comfortable doing that. But this was my teacher's first time doing it, and I was like, hey, I got two on the wait list, two or six. She's like, throw them in. I was like, okay. I'm like, sounds good. So I wouldn't do it without her saying it was okay. But even when I was away, people were like adding to the wait list, and I was like, let's start with 22, and then we'll go from there for the next one. But it was really successful. I mean, and it was stupid easy. The pop up camps are stupid easy fun. The kids love it. The parents love dropping them off, going out for a couple hours with their significant other or their friends, or just going to Target by themselves, I'm sure, and wandering aimlessly like us moms love to do. And just, yeah. So K pop definitely, all that extra stuff is what I love doing at the studio. That brings in a good, a good extra buffer. Like that helps at the end of the month for sure. So I love doing all that kind of stuff.
Good for you. I
Thank
feel
you.
like we're but even bigger, we're revisiting the period that was Frozen.
Yes. Yes. I feel like if you still did a Frozen camp right now, it would still sell out. Like,
I can't disagree, but the K-pop is something I want every studio owner to be aware of because it is working coast to coast to bring in new
yes,
faces. And,
yes,
if you never do things like that, this might be the time to jump on board and make it a blast for the kids.
yeah, yeah. And you definitely have staff who would be able to do it. There's staff who could give you a 3 hours once a month on a Saturday to do stuff like that. They want the extra money. There's teens who can help assist it because they all love the music anyway. So yeah, it's worth it for sure.
And I have now discovered on Netflix the Net Pops this series.
The K-pop series.
Pops. Yesterday, I'm like, shall I watch this? And then I saw a movie. I wanted to watch more, but I'm going to check it out so I know what I'm talking about. Okay, before we get into our conversation with June, I want to introduce and thank and appreciate our sponsor, which is Jackrabbit Dance.
Yes, Jackrabbit is the leading studio management software that helps dance studio owners do it all, registering students, managing tuition, class scheduling, and it keeps everything running smoothly. So thank you to Jackrabbit.
Yes, we're grateful for their partnership. And while this commercial runs, those of you that are here in the comments, let us know where you're from.
This episode is sponsored by Jackrabbit Dance, the dance studio software empowering you to build the studio of your dreams. With over 20 years of experience, Jackrabbit has the solutions and industry insights to help your business grow. Want to increase student enrollment, optimize your pricing to be profitable, or improve staff retention? See how other studios are using Jackrabbit Dance to hit their goals year after year. To learn more, visit jackrabbitdance.com/benchmarks.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome, Miss June.
Thank you so much.
How's it going for you?
It's going great. First of all, congratulations, Laura, on turning 40.
Oh, thank you.
I know that when I turned 40, I thought now people are going to take me serious. That's what
Oh, interesting.
40 days. So there is definitely a shift.
I like that.
Yeah, that is very true. June, take us back to the beginning. What inspired you to open your studio in 1985?
I think growing up in a studio, I absolutely loved learning the dance. But my teacher at the age of when I was 13, she pulled a hamstring really bad. And I got to be the demo student. And I discovered the more involved I got in the classroom, the more I loved helping people, the more I figured out that I kind of had a knack for teaching people and making them feel great. So when post-secondary education was coming into the forefront, I thought I'm going to go to university for dance, which is what I did. And I just dreamed about helping people and having a studio that aligned with what I didn't know then, my values. Like I wanted to run it the way I wanted to run it because I felt that everybody had the opportunity or should have the opportunity to learn in a safe environment that's caring.
What made you say, I didn't know it then, or something similar just now? Did it take a while to...
My father always said, start as you mean to go on. So basically those were the values, level everything up here, June. So I really didn't put the term values until I started educating myself later in life.
Okay.
After having met you, it didn't occur to me that those were my values, but I knew what I believed and I knew right from wrong. Both of my parents instilled that in me and I brought that into the business, but I can't say that the studio had values that were open to the community. Like that I said, this is what we value. But it was the studio was wrapped up in it in those 35 years before I sort of twigged, let's put the values down on paper.
Right. And I think that's important because when you're part of that community, you feel it and you know it. But if you're someone coming into it, that should be a part of us studio owners, like marketing and advertising. It should be seen on our website. Like, what are our values? Are our values creating incredible professional technicians? That could be your values. Or your values an all-inclusive environment? That should be in your values, because we all teach dance, but what we offer is different. What our styles are, what we want our legacy to be is going to be different. And I think that's important, like you said, to say that and make sure people understand that coming in your doors and make sure they align.
I also think that evolves over time.
Yeah.
And it could change over time.
And back in 1985, that first, I don't know when the internet and social media became apparent, because back then it was newspaper. That's where most of the advertising was, and word of mouth. So friends telling friends that, hey, you should go here because it's a really great space. But with the introduction of social media, for sure, that know, like, trust, we need to put it out there and create a picture of our studio, of what we value and what's important to us. So everyone gets a picture of what the community is like.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's key for attracting the right clientele too. Making sure that they see that it aligns with what they're looking for too.
Agreed.
So, June, over the years, What do you credit as the key factors to your studio's like longevity?
I'm going to go for education.
Ooh.
Yours or your students or both?
Both. I grew up in a CDTA, which is the Canadian Dance Teachers Association studio, and I'm a full member in both tap, jazz, and ballet, and also an examiner in all of those. So growing up, I attended syllabus days regularly. Every year we go through the syllabus, and then that is what I took to my students to teach that. And then they entered into dance examinations. So the leveling up was continuous. It wasn't just like, okay, you come and take a dance class and then you leave, but they were learning constantly. So to the students finish their advanced and then they become teachers themselves as well. So I would say education and forward thinking. I didn't realize I thought this way, but there's no problem that can't be solved.
Mm.
No
How
problem.
many years in business before you realized that? Just curious.
No, I think that I always knew that. Everything
Okay.
is figure outable. I somehow think I always thought ahead that this is what I want. I didn't realize that I was doing that. Probably the last 10 years, I'm realizing, like manifesting. It's like, okay, I want this to happen. And all of a sudden, that's the road I'm going down because that's happening.
Right.
When I first started, the first year I started, we had no recital. Then the second year we had a recital. So for the first 10 years in business, we did every other year, 1 year exams, 1 year recital, until the point where people were no longer registering in an exam year because there was a shift in the community. It was hard to get parents to understand the value of exams. So then I was like, okay, forward thinking, we've got to switch to recital every year and still keep the exam part in motion.
Wow. And that's, so you said around 10 years, that's when you made that shift.
Yes. For 10 years, it worked.
It's that's an evolution right there. Because as a kid growing up and going to Canada, being involved with Brian Foley and all of those people, exams were really important in Canada. I didn't know about them because they weren't quite as important in the States.
Yeah.
But so there's a shift that we've seen. And that's an interesting shift. And you have to be able to move forward with what your clientele's needs are.
You certainly have to have the pulse. You have to have your finger on the pulse and be open to listening to what people have to say back at you. It can be positive. It can be, I don't want to say negative, but it could be on the side that it might feel negative. But I always looked at it like, what are you really trying to tell me and what can I learn from that?
Yeah. So I would say your open-mindedness to feedback, June, I think is really important to your longevity too. Because if you just stayed on your every other year, I'm not sure if it would have built to what you have.
True. But learning to listen to that, learning to listen to the comments, it is hard. I'm much better at it now. But in the early days when somebody would say, I'm not happy with this, this, and this, that would throw me for a loop. I recovered from it and I was able to move forward from it, but it's a lot easier to do now.
June, for our listeners and people watching today, describe the loop, because I want people to understand that it's normal and that it's a learning process.
Yeah.
Okay, the loop. It means that if something happens, like let's say a client is upset about something or doesn't like something, the way things happened. For them, it could be over with in a day because I've handled it. But for me, I worry about it. I took it home, talked to the husband about it. It could go for a week and I'm just going and going. He used to say on like 7, all right, are we done with this topic now? Because clearly I had talked it through and around in every which way. Now that loop lasts about this long, because I'm much more confident in myself and in what I have created and the culture I have created.
Yeah. I think it's hard to make that growth though, June. I think that was one of the hardest things for me, going from I would say year 1 to 6, I was on that loop. It was like 6 years, and I had my processes and my handbooks and my da 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 da, but still, it was those moments where you had to, like, hold to your rules and, like, not like, "You booked a trip, you can't be here, so you're not going to continue on team," like, and actually follow through with that, like, that that's hard as a teacher, and that's hard as a studio owner to stand strong on some of those things when you know you have to for the benefit of the other 80 or 79 kids on team. But I feel like once you do it, it's like a muscle. Once you do it over and over again, it's like a muscle memory thing, and you get more confident in making those decisions as a studio owner, and like being like, no, I remember I had one mom come to me, and I actually said this to you, Rhea, at the dance life teacher at the center. Um, I remember someone said to me, she called me, and her daughter was dancing with me for years, and she said, you know, such and such, we're not going to come back next year if you're not doing 5 competitions and 2 nationals. That's what she said to me. And we only did 3 regionals and no nationals. And I said, "Oh, well, I'm really sorry to hear that. I wish her the best of luck." And the mom went, "You want us to leave?" Her response. And I said, "No, I want you to be happy, and I want her to be happy. And if that's going to make her happy, then I understand your decision. But that's not going to make me happy. And that's not going to make the other 90% of my clientele happy, or my future self when I have a child and a family. That's not what I want to be doing. I don't want to be spending my summer vacations at nationals. I don't, because that's going to be my family vacation, So that was like a firm stop for me. And that was at like year 8. After that conversation, I felt sad because I lost her and I had her for 8 years, but I was kind of like, do you want to go to 5 competitions though? And that's just not me. Right now we go to 4 and we love it, but we spread it out over the season. But to take everyone to nationals, that's like not really on my radar right now. Maybe in 10 years it would be, but then and now it's not. But that was probably one of those moments where you said that loop got real small. That loop got real small for me. I'm like, that's not what I want to be doing all spring long. It's just not.
Can I add to that? I think that for me, having a business that started in 1985, it was a business, but back then it was more for the passion and the art and what I was doing. I wasn't really aware of the business side. That sounds really funny to say, being in business for 40 years, but now I think our industry now, dance studios are considered businesses. These are jobs that we have. And I think that makes it easier. And the thing about the loop is making sure that the client knows that it's their decision. It's not your decision. You've set it out. They knew ahead of time. So it's the client's decision whether or not they continue or join. And as owners, if we can recognize that I'm glad you're telling me how you feel. And I look forward to hearing back with your decision.
Right. And being confident is hard to say that. Finding that confidence to say that's hard, June, especially as a younger, not as a younger studio owner, but just a younger business owner to make those calls is hard.
The whole secret is confidence. People don't believe me when I say that, but it is. Once you have that, you just get the tools you need. You can do anything you want. And I want to say one thing about what we just discussed. You can still loop even when you become a good non-looper. Yeah. There are times.
Let's go back.
I'm about June's age. I learned the lesson that she talked about many years ago, but I can't say I'm totally a non-looper now. There are still things that happen that can cause it. But in dance, if we allow it, it can happen every day to us. So there has to be this moment where you come to the realization. So June, my next question, because I think this is one I like, I'm fascinated by. So I know you teach a few classes a week and you cover classes, but you went from teaching to becoming the CEO, visionary. How did you know it was time to make that shift? What was it that has happened or did happen?
I didn't know it was time to make the shift. It was sort of put upon me because my husband was quite ill, so I wasn't able to be in the studio as often. So I had to go. Okay, so Tuesday night is going to somebody else. I had to have a backup teacher with me on Saturdays in case I had to come home. So, and I was spending more time at home doing more of the business side of stuff at home rather than going in early because I needed to care. So as that transition, the studio is growing and I couldn't continue doing all of the competition stuff, the costume stuff, the data stuff. So I started implementing roles and giving roles to people and putting people on different projects. And then as I saw that happen and saw everybody being so confident and competent in their roles, it's like, okay, I do not have, they touch base with me, but I do not have to be there in on the everyday. So yeah, did that help? Did I answer correctly?
Yes. What do you feel now, or what advice would you give to somebody who's considering stepping back and doing the running of the studio as their main project?
I think that it's important to start with that list of what you are doing and tracking everything that you are doing. Write down everything you do for a month or even a week and go, these are all the things that I do, and highlight what you love to do, highlight what you hate to do. And I always think of it too, if you're the owner, you're not the one that should, well, I change the toilet roll if I go in the bathroom and the toilet roll needs changing, but I'm not the one that's doing the changing on a regular basis or ordering of the toilet paper, right? That job has gone to somebody else now. So to make a list of all the things that you would like to get off your hands, and then go ahead and create descriptions for them and ask people on your team. And you really have to have a fine tune of listening to your team, because somebody you think might be great at it might not be the right person, yet the other person over here would be good at it, and this person would be great for something else. So what this has allowed me to do is definitely dream and be the visionary. And then I can talk to my team about, I have this idea, and then I can see where we're going. So it's letting me dig into the leadership side of being a studio owner. There's 13 people on my team. So letting me help them with their leadership in the roles that they have, their work in the classroom, their work outside of the classroom as well.
Yeah. And I feel like too, June, I think what people don't realize is when you're working like in the business so much, at least for me, I can't be as artistic and I come up with these cool, fun, out of the box ideas, whether it's for my choreography or for across the floor or it's for the extras that we do at the studio, new programs. If I'm like too in the nitty gritty of things, if I'm bogged down by emails and I'm bogged down by the day to day, like you're saying, like the ordering of this, the making sure the studios are clean, like that kind of stuff, it it shifts. And then you have that time to focus on the growth, because something that I learned in Gold Alliance is, and this is not to say in a bad way, and I don't want any teachers who are listening to take this the wrong way. A studio owner's time is at a higher rate, right? So it's like if you can delegate those things off of your list, so you can keep that machine moving forward. And in my mind, giving your teachers more opportunities to, for salaries and department heads and things like that, to me, that's what we should be doing as studio owners. I still love to teach. I teach on Monday nights, but and I did a lot of choreography this year. I choreographed an additional like 10 pieces for company. Like I did a lot this year, but at the same time, I couldn't, looking at the schedule, like I'm like, oh, maybe next year I'll go in another night. I'm like, I don't think so. I'm like, it's a beast, and I feel like when I take those hours away in the evening, it's like, okay, well, but those are hours you're working on the business, and those are important. So where are you going to shift those hours now, Laura? You have to, the hours of a business owner are at a higher rate. So you have to make sure we're mindful of where we're spending that time, for sure.
I
So
think,
June, go ahead.
can I just add to that? I wanted to say that when you are able to give responsibilities to your team, it certainly empowers them. And then everybody feels way more connected as a team, which makes your job as the leader easier.
Yeah, and I feel like too, I'm not sure if you agree with this. My teachers feel more invested in the business. Like they're helping it grow, they're helping it move forward. And a lot of my staff has been with me for a long time. I have 10 on staff. So I'm lucky, and 4 of them right now are alumni. So they have that passion because they've grown up in it, right? So I think having the staff feel that connection is really important. And I feel like your clientele will feel that too. It'll rub off on them. Yeah.
Before you ask that question, I want to say to our viewers, let us know where you're from. Put it in the comments and we may share it on screen. Go ahead, Laura.
So June, we're going to shift a little bit. We want to talk about, and can you tell us what it's like to be working side by side with your daughter, Morgan, now? What has that experience been like?
It's been good. It's been a learning experience. I am definitely, my brain is like this in spirals, and her brain is pretty much straight with a little curl. So
I knew this. That's why we have this question.
I like the little curl though.
My husband was also straight. He everything was in a straight line. I often I remember a time where my husband was sitting on the couch and I was asking my daughter a question, and she came to her father. She goes, "I now understand what you've been going through." Because when I think of 10 things at once, and I try to get them all out at once, and she's going through it logically. So she's a terrific person to have as the operations director, because she takes what it is that's in my brain and makes it happen logically through the rest of the team. It all filters down.
That's amazing.
I will also say there have been, we need clarity. Clarity is a good word. What my job is, what her role is, and what everybody else's role is. So that's very important when you're making a shift, that everybody understands and respects. It doesn't mean that if it's not my job to change that toilet roll and I walk into the bathroom and it needs changing, I'm going to say, whose job is it? I'm not. Right. I'm going to change it. If the garbage is full, I'm going to empty it. But just getting clarity for everybody to recognize, and giving opportunity for the team to express what's not working. So we have regular meetings and different ways for them to communicate. But yes, it's been terrific.
Is it hard, June, to turn off business mode when you guys are outside of the studio, whether it's having brunch on a Sunday or family dinner? Like, is it hard? Do you have to make a conscious effort to not, because Cole's only 5, so we're not talking about the dance studio and business, obviously. So, but what is that dynamic like now that she's really working in the business with you?
I would say when she was still in university, so that's at least a decade ago, she would say, "Can we not talk studio at home?" Because it was just too much, because I was bringing it home in not in a great way. So now I'm more fluid with my family life, with my home life, with my own time and work time. So I would say now, no, we do a really good job of not talking about it when we're being family.
That's great.
June, I gotta ask, do you ever find yourself sitting there with the desire to talk and you have to stop yourself?
Yes, but of late it's her that brings it up, not me.
Oh, do you stop her?
I think the last time we were together like that, it was something, and I said, "Hey, we shouldn't be talking shop," and she goes, "No, it's okay for this time."
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Omaha. Hello. Renee. A shout out to Uniontown, Ohio. And I'm going to say that Shanann and Judy Sullivan. How's it going, Judy? We also have, now they're coming in. Tabitha from Rockwell, North Carolina. We're neighbors, Tabitha. And this is my good friend, Fred Connect. Hi, Fred. How cool is that? Ooh, now they're really going. Louis, look, he always sends me a message. When you get a chance, give me a call. That goes live. Love you, Louis. So, June, as a woman in business, what would you say now to the June of 1985 when you opened your school?
I would say be more confident in yourself. Know more on the business end. The arts end, the creativity was not a challenge. The business end was. Know your numbers. Don't be afraid of those numbers, and don't be afraid of speaking up about those numbers and setting dreams, financial dreams, like having a salary. What does retirement look like?
And June, those dreams being your personal dreams, not just the studio dreams, is what I want to hit on.
100%. So that treating yourself as a person, like, yes, you have the business, that the business is the business, and it's not you, and to not lose yourself in the business. There were quite a few years before I was able to go, who is June without the business? But that's hard to think about.
Because I think it does become a part of your identity in a lot of ways.
This is a subject I do not want to talk about, you guys.
Well, there's so many roles, right?
I told you I was in a rare mood today.
Business owner, wife, mother, like all of those things.
Right.
Yeah.
All your hats.
All your hats. And to just spend some time on the other hats. Spend some time away from the business, away from the studio. And when I say time, it could be an hour that you're sitting down and reading a book that is just you time.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. So let's add on to that. Why do you feel continuing education is so important? That's something that I know, with being in Gold Alliance with you for so many years, you've truly invested time, like weekly hours, to make sure that you're continuing learning and growing. Why is that so important to you and your business?
There's always a spark. I went to CDTA syllabus days from the time I was 13, and I knew the exam work inside, outside as a teacher. It was the same work presented every year, but every year when somebody else said it, I learned something new. It didn't matter that I'd seen it already for umpteen times. So when I'm going to conferences, being part of Gold Alliance, in meetings with people who are in the same business as me, there's always something that somebody says that sparks motivation and interest and inspiration. And I think that education is so important, because otherwise we go stale. If we just sit in what we're doing, we don't go anywhere.
And dance education and dance business is evolving right now faster than ever before. It's almost like you can't stop from pursuing some sort of continuing education.
Yeah.
And especially business education.
It's so important to be in a room with people who are like-minded, that people who are doing things differently from you, so that you can learn about that. It doesn't mean that I'm going to take on what Laura does as a studio owner, but it means that I'm going to listen to her, and probably one little thing is going to come back at me and go, you know what? I think I could flip it like this, and it's going to work for me. It's going to work for us. And that's really important. If I wasn't being in a group like that, then who am I talking to? Where am I getting my ideas? It can be very stale.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And I feel like it's also important to be, what I always loved about Gold Alliance is, and I hope this doesn't come off the wrong way, but being around people who are smarter than you. When I first joined Gold Alliance, I was the baby. And I remember looking around being like, whoa, I'm only in year 9 at that point, entering the year. And then, like, there were studio owners like you and Tammy and like all these studios that were like 25 years, 30 years. And I'm like, I'm a baby. I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a baby. But it really, it pushed me. It pushed me. I thought I had it together. And I'm like, oh, I don't have processes. I don't have systems written down. I don't have this. I don't have that. Like, it just, it was like a big kick in the butt because I think it went back to June, like when you said you got into it for the passion of dance. I think a lot of studio owners go into it because of that. And that's fantastic. And that's fabulous. And that's the love of wanting to continue, pass on that passion to other students in the next generation. But it goes back to what you also said, that you also have to have your salary. It is a business. You have to make sure you have your own personal goals that are being, you know, also taken care of too. You know, you're a wife, you're a mother. There's other things that have to make sure those boxes are being checked. And I think continuing education and getting that, all of those boxes checked when it comes to running a true business and not just a passion project, I think that's what's going to get you to 40 years in business. That's what's going to get you to 40 years in business.
I'm looking at this comment. Kelly G, I'm not sure if you're still here. Kelly G was a student of mine at the studio. She was in Nuts and Crackers, which was a show that my mother produced. She also took from a woman named Charlotte Klein, and I haven't seen her in years, but Kelly G, I want to say hello and that I follow you on Facebook and you're doing awesome, my friend. Okay, so I'm going to ask this, June, what's your vision for the future?
My vision for the future. My future, the business's future, any future?
You, June-ish.
June-ish. I want to travel more, which I have put into place. That was one of my things that I sorted out. Like, what do I want? Continued family time. That's really important. And traveling with family is important. And still be involved. I'm really digging into the leadership of my team. So I still want to very much involved in that and seeing everybody there thrive and see the business thrive so that it can survive another 40 years.
Awesome.
And it will, June.
We'll have you on in 40 years. See how
yes!
it works, all right?
Yes.
I can't wait
to help me with the technology by then.
At that point, we'll just be holograms, June. Just to push your button and we'll all be in the same room.
June, we're going to go to something special. Take it, Laura.
Yes. Okay. So what we're going to do is do a little fun rapid fire session. So all you have to do is say the first thing that comes to your head, June. Okay. What is your favorite memory from your early teaching years?
Being behind a closed door and having the toddlers tell me something that their parents did on the weekend and being totally like, oops, I wonder if they heard that.
That was a great answer. Okay, I lost track of where we were because I've had that happen too. It's just something we don't discuss much.
Yep.
One word to describe your studio today.
Wow. Caring.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. A go-to treat after a long day.
Cup of tea.
That's the British and Scottish in you, right?
I'll
Do
go
I
with
have
it.
that right?
Yeah, you got it. Scottish.
Scottish. Book or podcast that recently inspired you?
Well, your podcast with Stacy. I love that.
That was a brownie point right there.
Lots of Stacy's. I like listening to Stacey Morgan. Like, she always inspires me. She's got 15-minute podcast, nice and short and quick.
Excellent. I enjoy hers as well. And last but not least, what does living the dream mean to you, June?
Let's see. I like time to myself. I like living in my house by myself, being able to do what I want to do, be involved where I want to be involved, going into the studio to teach, being with my team, lots and lots of family time and friend time. That's living the dream. I am living it.
Balance.
I'm definitely living the dream.
Love that.
That's why I wanted you on here, Miss June. Thank you for sharing your heart and experience, June. Your journey reminds us of what the power of growth and vision can become. But I'm going off here for a second.
Go ahead.
I have watched you from the pandemic or before the pandemic, watched you take care of your husband, run your studio, evolve into the leader that you are right now. And I think you should pat yourself on the back. Honestly and truly, I couldn't be more proud of watching your journey, my friend.
Thank you so much.
So I just took us totally off script. Laura, pick it up.
It's okay. So we just want to give a big thank you to, of course, our sponsor, Jackrabbit Dance, for continuing to support these conversations. And if you like today's episode, give us a like or share. And don't forget to subscribe to Living the Dream on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or YouTube.
And I want to try this.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm learning new stuff every day. That's a QR code to regold.com where you can watch past episodes of Living the Dream, hear about our conferences, and be inspired. Also, our alliances as well. I hope you'll check it out. Until then, keep living the dream, my friends. Thank you again, June.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, June.
Bye, Miss Laura.
Bye.
That's a wrap on this episode of Living the Dream. A huge thank you to our sponsor, Jackrabbit Dance, for their support of our community and helping dance studios thrive. If you loved today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your dance friends. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep dancing, and keep making a difference.